Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Psych Talk. Today I will be reacting to Selena Gomez and Benny Blanco appearance on the Jay Shetty Podcast. So let's get into it.
Why are you reading the comments? Okay, there's two reasons. You're either reading a comment because you want people to be like, "Oh my God, I love you," or you want someone to say, "You piece of shit, you're ugly, you look like shit." You know what I'm saying? And it's like, and you don't need either one of those answers. I'd rather just free fall through life, and I don't need to know any of that stuff. And I've never even read an interview back ever that I've ever done.
Okay, so I agree with him. I don't think people should be reading the comments. I don't think, especially celebrities, should be reading the comments because it's either like super positive, they're a fan and they love you, and also be very negative and definitely can affect your mental health. It can lead to depression, anxiety, and low self-esteem, low self-worth, and all of the things that people are saying about you that are not necessarily true, and they can become your reality. And so it would be a nice thing if people, instead of like commenting really mean things that are not really true, they actually give feedback, like constructive feedback, constructive criticism, so that people can grow, can learn, and instead of just bashing a person for whatever you hear from other people that may be not actually accurate. And so, yeah, I think that's a good thing that he's doing that because it can definitely affect your mental health.
Once I understood and got to know him, and I wasn't afraid to tell him, like, hey, I just want to make sure, like, it's not that I don't trust you. Can you just text me before you go to your next thing? And I was able to do that with him, and he wasn't combative. He wasn't like, why? Why you don't trust me? It was just sort of like, yeah, I could totally do that. And with that, day by day, I feel more and more open, and we're
Yeah, I actually love this. I love the fact that he's very open-minded and doesn't try to be right or win an argument. And it seems like he was receptive to her needs and he was actually listening to what she needed in the moment. And if she needs a text from him, hey, I'm going to do this right now, or yeah, I'm on my way here, and just to, reassure her, um, yeah, that's great. Like the fact that he wasn't, combative about it. It's like super easy. It takes like 10 seconds to write a text. And so he was like, yeah, sure, no problem. And that is great because he literally listened to her needs and he's meeting her needs. And she doesn't have to like explain herself and be like, yeah, I really need this because I don't know, in my past relationships, this happened and that happened. I just need extra reassurance. And I think that's great.
If someone's coming at you with a certain energy, you're already going to buck back. Like she always comes in a way where she's like, well, I didn't like this because of this, this, and this. I'm like, she said it's so nice that I have to. I'm like, no, because I'm like, shit, I have to approach this in a different way because she came at it with such class and effort. So, like, I'm not going to come back at her like that. I'm going to come back at her and say, well, I agree with what you're saying, or, I disagree, and here's why, and it.
Okay, I'm actually loving this because they're extremely mature. They know how to communicate to one another and effectively without like triggering the amygdala and that can de-escalate so quickly. Like the fact that she instead of being very defensive and be like, oh, like do this because this makes me angry, or like, oh, you always do this. She's very like gentle about it, and it's not walking on eggshells. It's just being nice to one another without screaming at each other. She's literally like, oh, I don't like when you do this because, it makes me feel this way. And that is literally how couples should communicate so that instead of triggering the other person and becoming defensive, you can actually listen to what the other person is saying and to the needs of the other person, and you're more receptive to what they're saying instead of just getting defensive because you're just seeing at the moment your amygdala gets triggered and you're just seeing black and white, and so you can't think straight. And so that seems to me that that's what she's doing with him, and so he's able to be being very receptive and be like, yeah, sure, I agree with you, like, yeah, I agree with you in this, and I think maybe we should do this. Or, yeah, you know what, I disagree, and that's fine too, because you don't have to agree with everything your partner says, because we're different people, like, you're not the same person, and that's completely normal, as long as both people in the relationship can meet each other in the middle and compromise without, one of them becoming resentful eventually.
And that's how we talk through everything.
Yeah.
And then another thing was, I really wanted a person that when I wake up, I think to myself, I'm like, how can I make Selena's day better? Like, what can I do in my day to make her day better? Because then that makes my day better. And I wanted to find a person like that. And I know when Selena wakes up, like, the first thing she's thinking is like, how can I make his day better? And we have such a give and take. Like, I could never even see a world where I would ever yell at her. She would ever yell at me. Like, we don't argue like that. Like, I feel like we just have conversations. Like, there's never an argument.
If we all did this, like waking up and thinking, okay, how can I make my partner's day better? What can I do, even something very little, that could make them feel less stressed, less anxious? And that is literally how a relationship can grow and how you can actually live a better life. Imagine both people in the relationship did that. Your life is going to be so much easier. Yeah. So far, what I see is literally maturity. And it seems like they both go to therapy or went to therapy, because they're very, they seem healed from their past relationships or past traumas. Not only healed, but also it seems like they learn how to communicate their needs very effectively, how to listen to the other person without becoming defensive, and how to actually make the relationship better and not think selfishly about oneself. Because sometimes certain decisions or certain choices we make is just for our own benefit, instead of thinking about the partnership, thinking about the couple. Okay, how can our relationship grow and become better without compromising either me or the other person? Yeah, let's continue.
Sometimes she'll say, this is so funny.
Oh boy.
No. She'll do this and it's really cool. She'll go, I'm feeling a little irritated and I think I need like 25 minutes. And I'll say, okay. And then I give her space. And then after like 5 minutes, she texts me. She's like, hey, will you come back? but it's knowing that, and we have the proper boundaries set with each other. Like, I don't have to be on top of her every second. She doesn't have to be on top of me every second we're together. I just want to know she's in the house so I can say like, hey, I love you, and then go back to what I'm doing. You know what I mean? Because look, we're both highly independent people, okay?
Okay, I'm loving this. I think I said that like 5 times already, but the fact that she says to him when she feels, that's my take on it. Let's say she feels a little bit distressed or irritated about what it's being talked about, or maybe they're arguing, like conversing, but it's a topic that may be like irritating to her. Instead of her reacting to him and like maybe raising her voice at him, or just saying things that you later will regret, she's like, okay, you know what? I need 25 minutes. I'm just going to go maybe in the other room, decompress, think about it, meditate or deep breathing, whatever it is, and then I'll come back to you. And that is literally a healthy way to handle an argument. Instead of in the moment just fighting with one another and trying to win the argument, the idea will be, like, if you're not able in the moment to like calm down and debrief, it will be a good idea will be to take a walk, go somewhere else for like a couple of minutes or an hour, how much you need, I don't know, how much time you need to decompress, and then go back to the conversation. Obviously, do not leave the conversation and never talk about, but if you need time to think about it, do it and communicate that to your partner, because that is way better than actually getting into a heated argument. What I've seen so far in this episode is that both Benny and Selena are very mature people. They communicate very well with one another. They do have good conflict resolution, and they both seem to strive for a better relationship. They're not selfish people. They think about the wellness of the relationship and their future in the relationship. So it seems to me that every choices they're making or every actions they're, choosing, it seems to benefit the relationship. And yeah, that is great. It's actually so refreshing to see a Hollywood couple be so mature in a relationship, willing to admit that they go through therapy and there's nothing wrong with that. Admitting that certain past relationships might have influenced the way they are today, but they were able to heal from that through therapy. What I also think is that they literally met at the perfect time because they both are healed people. It seems to me that before getting into a relationship, the both of them wanted to actually heal, go to therapy, and maybe spend their time with their friends and family and make those relationships stronger. And then once you feel like you're at a point where you can be in a relationship with a partner, yeah, you just go for it. But it seems to me that before doing that, they both waited to rationalize what has happened to them in their past relationships. And so this is great. Like Benny is a green, like it's a walking green flag, literally. So I'm really happy for her and she deserves that. And yeah, this is it. This is for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram. We're called Psych Talk Pod. Subscribe to this channel and put a like if you like this episode. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.